is BP Crosstown Cup postgame live, presented by Sylvania.
That's drilled deep right center for Przinski, and it's gone. A home run. What a day he's had. He is a triple shy of the cycle. 4 hits and 3 RBIs. He always seems to step up in these Crosstown series.
Sox catcher A.J. Przinski just a triple short of the cycle today. White Sox beat up on the Cubs 10-5 this afternoon at Wrigley Field. Hello and welcome to Sylvania Cubs postgame live. I'm David Kaplan, joined by the Big Hurt Frank Thomas, Belton Bill Melton, and Todd Hollinsworth. And let me get started with you, Frank. This was all White Sox all day long. PV pitched very well, but A.J. was just awesome, and you had a pregame chat with him.
A.J. played like the type of guy he is today, and he knows what I'm talking about. That's A.J. Przinski. He's a great player. He needs to come out of his shell right now because his team still got a chance. They just won 4 out of 5. They're still in it. You know, I think the situation with Kenny talking to Ozzie and getting his team motivated a little bit this week, it's paying off. 4 out of 5, that's the best we've looked all year. They got a chance now.
Billy, your thoughts? The offense was in high gear. Randy Wells was laboring. It was humid out there. But Peavy, other than the home run to Soriano, pitched pretty well.
Peavy did a good job. He only walked 1 5Ks, but when you talk about A.J., for some reason he needs to come over to Wrigley Field all the time because this guy really puts on a show here, and he had been struggling. But this whole ball club is now offensively swinging the bats a lot better. Alex Rios with 4 hits. You had A.J. with 4 hits. But the White Sox in the last week, I think, since they've been home, even though the record's not there, we've been getting double-digit hits. So, you know, we've been getting 10 and 12 hits a few nights, where before that we were lucky to get 3 or 4. So, overall, I think all these teams, or both of these teams, really get up for the Crosstown right here. It's kind of a shame that both teams have struggled to this point in the season. But you know what? The bottom line is I think the people in the stands, once they got done with that parade, which was huge today, that stadium was full. And, you know, I think there'll be a little more energy over the weekend. I think Saturday and Sunday will be a little bit different.
Todd, Randy Wells, they changed up his pregame routine. Nobody on, 2 outs in the first, and the next thing you know, hit from Rios, a hit from Konerko, and you look up and there's a couple runs on the board. That had to be demoralizing.
Well, quite a list right there. If you look at Randy Wells, his success and his failure today, when he keeps the ball down, he finds himself having some success. When he gets the ball up, he's getting hit around the yard. All 4 of those hits, 4 hits in a row with 2 outs. Ball elevated in the zone, 88 miles an hour, 87 miles an hour. It's a great hitting speed. That's why he's getting hit. He's getting the ball up.
All right, let's go to Lou Piniella at the podium.
We changed his routine, but it didn't help him today.
You guys did this thing you were talking about?
Talking about, yeah, the first 3, 4 hitters, pitching to them.
He did it the first 2 outs.
Yeah, and then he ran into trouble with the 3rd hitter, and they got 3 or 4 hits in a row, a couple runs.
Lou, he was so good last year. Do you think that they've made adjustments to what he's done from last year?
I don't know. Look, these major league hitters are, they can swing the bat. You see a lot of pitchers, players that struggle their second year a little bit, and they have to readjust. Look, he's a competitor, and I feel that he'll turn this thing around and give us good performances. I really do. 300. Yeah, that was the highlight of the game for us. Yeah, in the past few days we've had two of our players hit that milestone. It's a lot of home runs. A lot of home runs. I congratulate him. I thought the ball he hit into the left field corner, I thought it should have been ruled a double. It was hit hard, and tough play for the third baseman. Thanks.
All right, so Lou Piniella, obviously a tough loss for his ball club today. When you look at him, he just looks like he's exhausted with all the stuff that's gone on. The team just not looking good fundamentally.
Well, you got a lot of things going wrong with this ball club, and that's really what it comes down to. These losses, you can sum it up with bad defense yesterday, bad pitching today. The offense has not been there an awful lot this year, and that's why they're losing ball games. They're not finding ways to win. They're playing to the level of their competition, and really, I don't want to call it finding ways to lose, but that's essentially what they're doing today, and what they've been doing over the last, well, all season long. It hasn't been good, and unfortunately, until this thing starts to come together, you're going to have to find ways to be productive offensively and shore up and play that fundamental baseball that they need to do out there on the field. They have not been doing that. When you're struggling on the offense, you've got to make sure defensively that you're making all the plays, that you're doing the right things. You've got to make sure that you're getting the ball down on the mound. Today, I mean, balls elevated in the zone, very, very hittable for all these guys. 87, 88 miles an hour. Those are all pitches that get hit by all types of hitters, not just middle of the order hitters or strong 300 hitters. Those are guys that, 7, 8, 9 hitters can put 88, 89 miles per hour when it's up in the zone in play and hit that ball hard. And you saw that today quite a bit.
All right, as Hawk likes to say, let's go talk with our Chuck Garfien. He is with Alex Rios.
I'm here with a man who is about as hot as the weather right now, Alex Rios. When was the last time you felt this good at the plate?
It's been a while, it's been, I guess I'm seeing good pitches to hit. I'm putting good swings on the balls, and that's what I want to be.
There's a lot of people out there wondering, why can't you guys score this many runs every game? What's been preventing you guys from doing that?
I don't think it's that easy to score this many runs. Lately we've been putting good swings on the ball. We've been moving the runners and doing the simple things, and it's been working for us.
Here's another question. Can you guys get back in the race?
We're gonna try. I believe in my team, and I think we can do it. We still have a long time to keep winning games, and I think we can do it.
All right, Alex, congratulations. Big game. All right, Alex Rios, 4 hits. That big home run to left field. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Chuck. Let's go to the podium. Here's Randy Wells.
Take my mind off the first inning troubles or whatever. I don't agree with it. I've done the same routine ever since I've been a pitcher, and it's worked in the past. It's just, as much as I hate to admit it, I think it's more of a mental thing now. You get 2 quick outs and then 4 straight hits. You sit back and you evaluate it. I'm doing everything that I've ever done to be successful, pounding the zone, throwing strikes. And, maybe the stuff's just I don't know. It's kind of funny, looking back on it, but it just comes down to today. Just came down to not executing pitches when you needed to, and made some good changeups to Canerco, all throughout the game, and I knew he was looking for one, but like I said, if I execute it and get the ball down the zone and bounce it like I tried, it's a different result. And then obviously it just got out of hand.
Brandon, is your confidence still high, or is it a little shaky because of what's happening?
I'm not going to lie. I'm not exactly beaming with confidence right now. Got roughed up a little bit. My ERA's ballooned up and, not winning games. But, my approach is the same. Go out aggressive and throw strikes and hopefully good things happen. So, I think I need to tinker with some stuff. I need to make some adjustments and get back to the basics and maybe find something, a little edge that can get me on, back on track.
Brandon, you getting the same type of sink on the ball?
No, that's a big thing too. It's more riding in, it's more rising than it has in the past. And I think that comes with mechanics, forcing things, trying to be perfect. I think that comes with the, like I said, the mental thing of, trying to beat that curse of the first inning or whatever, is made up. So, it's embarrassing. I know I'm better than this. I know, I hope that the team knows I'm better than this and that we can fight through it and hopefully get back on track.
What was the biggest thing about the routine change today?
I really didn't change it. We just kind of, Coy gave me some signs down in the bullpen and kind of, got on a rhythm thing like we would in the game. And, it helped a little bit, but, at the same time, it comes down to executing pitches. And, I didn't do that consistently today. After the first inning, I came out and got some quick outs. But it just seems that the hits come in bunches. And I don't know if it's, a runner gets on and I try to press and make the perfect pitch and end up, leaving the ball out over the plate. But, you know, I'm not going to beat around the bush or make excuses. You know, it all comes on me, and there comes a time when you got to look in the mirror and face the facts. And the facts are I'm just not getting it done right now, and I got to put all my energy in to find out what I need to do to get done.
Randy, you seemed a little upset this morning that some people, I guess, on the radio have been questioning your work ethic.
Yeah, I mean, it's never how you want to wake up and come to the ballpark. You know, I told myself all last night and at dinner that you know, come in confident, and today's a new day, and you know, it's a big series for us, and you know, everybody's going to be pumped up, and I'm going to be pumped up, and you come in and have to answer questions about somebody saying you're out all night is, you know, it's kind of funny, but you know, I don't know what they're talking about, and you know, I went to dinner last night and got a good dinner with some friends, and got home and got some rest, and I was excited to come to the ballpark. I showed up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's pretty tough to pull an all-nighter and then get here at 8. So, you know, whatever. You know, that stuff happens in a city like this, and people can say whatever they want to say. I know I was prepared, and I know what I did, and I don't feel like I need to answer the questions or even answer to those people. But, you know, if that's the way they want to talk or spread rumors, then they're not going to ever, you know, get an interview or anything from me ever again. So.
Do you think you'll try anything different next time for the first thing, or go back to what you used to?
No, I mean, I think, you know, I think this week is going to be a good side session. You know, more of just, you know, I try to stay upbeat. You know, try to have fun and not dwell on these bad starts. I mean, as hard as it is to do, it's, you know, if you sit there and let it eat at you for 4 days, it's just going to get worse. So, you know, just look forward to my side and look forward to having a talk with Larry and figure out what we need to do to get back to get that sinker sinking and get some, you know, I think a lot of it too is I just had a talk with, you know, some of my teammates that, you know, everything's about the same speed, you know. My fastball's 88 to 91 and my changeup and my slider are the same speed. So, you know, if they eliminate one of the 3 pitches, then it's pretty easy to sit and have a good approach to what they're going to do, and I, you know, just listening to them talk, you know, as hitters, what they look for if they're facing me, that's what they say they do. They eliminate one pitch and look to have that approach. So maybe I need to, you know, work on some, you know, changing speeds a little better and get that changeup fine-tuned and like I said, get some more sink and a lot of it's just getting ahead of hitters too. You know, strike one.
All right, there is Cubs pitcher Randy Wells. Another rough outing today. Frank, you heard him talk about what hitters are telling him. Todd was saying earlier that he's elevating everything. What did you see as such a great hitter in your career? What did you see from his stuff?
Well, I know Randy. I played with him for a brief moment in Toronto. He's a gamer. He came in that spring, went 5-0, and we thought he was going to be one of our starting pitchers, and they sent him back to the Cubs. The guy's, he's got gall. You know, he's one of those guys, I think he's talking too much right now about what's going on with his pitching. He just ran to a team today. The bottom line is, when you give up 10 runs, 16 hits, you deserve to lose a ball game. He got some big 2-out hits there on him, and it's eating at him a little bit, but he's just got to realize this is a game of short-term memory. You can't continue to expose everything to the media, to the press.
When you were playing, and you had great numbers, if you went 0 for 5, what were you like that night?
Oh, I'm facing the same things every day. I'm always looking fastball, not just the breaking pitches.
But did you take it home with you?
You can't take it home with you. I mean, it's baseball. You're always going to take some stuff home with you. But the bottom line, you got to have short-term memory because this is a game of consistency, a lot of failure, but you got to be prepared for the next ball game.
Billy, how about you?
Well, to me, this would be a comfortable 0 for 5. I mean, there's comfortable 0 for 5s and there's tough 0 for 5s. In the way he's throwing, everything's the same speed. This would be, you would go back to the bench as a hitter and you would be pretty angry at yourself. And you'd say, well, geez, I can't believe I got any hits off of this guy. But again, you know, when you hear Randy talk, look at, we do this on the south side. We've been going through this just like the Cubs are going through it. You set the tone of the game by the pitcher, the starting pitching. Anytime a starter pitcher goes out there and throws a good ball game, you give your chance, you know, a team your chance to win. You usually see a pretty good ball game, win or lose. But when you're getting hammered right away and giving up a lot of runs, it's tough. It's tough to find yourself. So overall, I thought I don't watch him pitch all the time. A lot of pitches up. The guys on our club that I see, when they're up with their change-ups or any kind of pitch, they get hit hard. We've given up a lot of hits.
All right, now Jake Peavy comes in with an ERA near 6. Other than the long Soriano home run, I thought he pitched a really solid ball game. Your thoughts on Peavy versus the Cub offense? Was it the hitters? Was it Jake? Was he that good today?
Well, I think he was good. He's coming off a pretty decent start his last start. I think he went 7 innings, gave up 2 runs his last start. I'm not sure if he got the win or not, but I feel like he feels like, at least from what I've heard from him, that he's throwing the ball a bit better. When I faced Jake Peavy, I saw an electric slider. I'm not so sure I saw a whole lot of that today, but you know what? He knew where the corners were today. He got a lead and he threw strikes, and that's what you got to do when you start getting that bigger lead. He kept his team in the ball game. He didn't make very, very many mistakes out over the plate. Look, you see that slider right there. It had some life to it. It had some bottom to it. It was down in the zone. He made good pitches when he had to, but I also believe that some of these Cubs hitters, they missed some pitches to hit as well.
Well, he was 95 on the gun today, which is the velocity that the White Sox are looking for.
Well, this is the difference between a veteran and, say, Randy Wells, a young kid like that. I mean, when you don't have your best stuff, you can pitch. If Randy Wells didn't have his best stuff today, he will learn how to pitch. You can pitch without it, and you can win a lot of ball games, and that's kind of what Jake Peavy was doing, or has been doing himself. It's a veteran pitcher. All
right, we have to take our first time out on BP Crosstown Cup postgame live, presented by Sylvania. We'll have much more of today's game when we come back.
Comcast gives you access to over 2,000 choices and the best HD picture quality in Chicago. Plus, get 10,000 on-demand titles to pick and play whenever you're ready. Call 1-888-4BEST-TV.
At Quicken Loans, we're obsessed with finding a better way
for you to get a home loan.
Right now, we've got great offers like this.
The rate on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is near 4.99%, APR 5.187%. By calling Quicken Loans today and refinancing at these low rates, you may be able to keep more money in your pocket each month. Don't miss what could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to refinance with Quicken Loans.
And that's why I love
being a home loan expert.
This is unlike any car you've ever seen before. This is power with efficiency. This is an interior that exceeds even the promise of the exterior. This is the all-new Jaguar XJ, the stunning result of taking a very different road.
Every 2011 Jaguar includes best-in-class Jaguar Platinum coverage with complimentary scheduled maintenance and no-cost replacement of wear and tear items.
There's nothing like seeing Chicago baseball in stunning high definition. And there's nothing like watching the biggest new DVD releases on breathtaking Blu-ray. Bring home the best in home entertainment with the Sylvania HD LCD flat screen and the outstanding Sylvania Blu-ray disc player. Available today at Sears.
Find the right gifts for Dad at Menards. Right now, all Irwin tools are 20% off. Choose from a wide selection of Irwin handsaws, clamps, saw blades, drill bits, power tool accessories, and more. They're all 20% off. Complete numerous projects with the Sonic Crafter. It's great for sawing, grinding, scraping, sanding, polishing, and more. With a 2.3M motor, this 20-piece kit is only $109. Can't find the perfect gift? Give your father a Menards gift card.
Save big money at Menards.
Wise Guys Pizza all-you-can-eat lunch buffet 7 days a week. 8 styles of pizza to choose from, or request your favorite. Also includes the best chicken wings in the Quad Cities, a fantastic salad bar, soup, and made-from-scratch pastas.
Wings are great. Pizza's good. You get a lot for your money.
They have excellent pizza. Plenty of pizza on their buffet, and it's good. They have the best buffet in the Quad Cities.
Come in for the best pizza and wings in the Quad Cities. Wise Guys Pizza on 53rd Street in Davenport.
The Stones, Aerosmith, AC/DC, and Bon Jovi coming to the Quad Cities for one monster concert. Well, not exactly, but it's the next best thing. It's Tribute Fest 2010. We've assembled a collection of the top tribute bands in the nation for one monster concert festival. Friday, June 25th in downtown Moline, featuring Satisfaction, Toys in the Attic, Hell's Bells, and Bed of Roses. Admission is just $10 and parking is free. Tickets available at the iWireless Center box office and Ticketmaster. For more information, visit QCTributeFest.com.
Hands on me!
His last 2 decisions were L's. We have our Feldco call of the game, and for that, we go back to the bottom of the second, a milestone for the Cubs' Alfonso Soriano.
High fly ball. Rios back on the warning track, number 300. A game-tying homer for Soriano, and a milestone
Welcome back to BP Crosstown Cup Post-Game Live, presented by our friends at Sylvania. I'm David Kaplan with Frank Thomas, Bill Melton, Todd Hollinsworth. Let's get into talking about A.J. Pierzynski. A.J., 4 hits today. You had a pregame chat with him. For those just tuning in, you sat down and talked to him. What did you tell him?
No, A.J., now, we go at each other all the time. I think he misses it.
You guys are tough.
He's one of those guys that you got to stay on his guard a little bit. He's one of those guys that's irritant. He's an irritant. And you got to do that to him. I think he's just been unmotivated. He's not re-signed. He's a free agent. He's a great catcher.
Trade rumors.
The trade rumors. Everything's starting to get to him a little bit. But I think right now he needs to just focus on the game because A.J. is a great player, a great teammate, and this team needs A.J. Pierzynski.
How about your thoughts on A.J. and Alex
Well,
Rios?
I heard that conversation today, and this guy's not telling you the truth. I mean, these guys were on fire, but that's all right. A.J.'s been the same way with me and everybody else for 5 years. I mean, you read one thing and you know a different guy. And he is. He's an irritant. I mean, you just like the guy a little bit less because he's on your team. I think Ozzie has said that over and over. You really dislike the guy, but you like him a little bit less when he's on your team. The guy's a smart ball player. The thing I like about A.J., he really knows how to call a game. You know what? This guy catches 1,000 innings. I mean, every year he's catching 1,000 innings. I think he's going to set a record here. But that's unbelievable. That's just he catches every day. You can't get the guy out. A backup guy to him doesn't get a chance.
How about Rios? This guy really played well today as well.
That's another one of Frank's.
5'2" superstar.
You talked to him too?
No, actually, he was my teammate. He was my teammate 2 years ago. I've never seen a player that can do it all, and he can do it all. When he wants to play, he's as good as any player in baseball. He's happy this year. He just had his second kid. Alex is just on top of his game. I mean, offense, defense, everything he's doing on the field, stealing bases. This guy's a 5'2" superstar, and he has it in cruise control right now.
All right, let's talk about Alfonso Soriano. Big 2-run home run today to tie the game at that point. Career number 300. And as bad as he was a year ago, the knee was a problem. He's been pretty darn solid offensively this year.
Well, as we all know, he's about as streaky as they come, but when he gets real streaky, he can carry a ball club, and this club right now needs for him to get hot streaky. It's a good sign today. He gets his 300th home run. Jake Peavy trying to sneak a 92, 93-mile-an-hour fastball back in on him. He jumps all over it. He's having a good day today. He's feeling good. He's been struggling a little bit coming into this ball game, but 6 for 16 against Jake Peavy. He had to feel good about his chances. And, well, I mean, Jake Peavy, he got most of those at-bats over in the National League. Obviously, when his velocity was 94, 95 in that devastating slider, that goes to show you that Alfonso Soriano can turn around a fastball, and he's doing just that. So, again, we can get into who should be playing in the outfield this day and that day. This club needs for him to respond and continue to hit if they're going to win ball games.
All right, let's talk about the Crosstown setup. Did you guys, as players, you two played in it, do you like playing the Cubs 6 times? I remember Joe Girardi here saying, please, I'd rather play other teams. 3 is fine. Me speaking as a fan, love the 6 games.
The town loves it. I think it should be 7 games. I think it should flip-flop every year. One team with the extra home game because I'm telling you, it gets a team motivated. This town needs it. Town loves it.
So you fed off of it.
It's an intense series. And sometimes you get too high and you fall down for 3-4 games. But this year, both of these teams need this series, and I really believe there will be a hot team after this series, one of these 2 teams.
Do you like it?
I absolutely loved it, and I think a great spokesman for it is a guy like A.J. Pierzynski. Maybe you guys will agree with me, but I mean, you look at, I know that his numbers are down a little bit, and just like you guys said, there's been some issues, he's been working through, and the trade rumors and all that, but he shows up today in a Crosstown Classic. Here we go, 4 for 4, home run. I mean, probably his best offensive day of the year. I got jacked for this series because it was an awful lot of fun to me. I loved going over to the South Side and playing over there as well.
We just showed a Frank Thomas home run from the Crosstown series. Well, in that same game, a certain Cub outfielder named Todd Hollinsworth also left the building.
Yeah, that was Freddie. I remember that. That's Freddie because I know he's still there. He was trying to race me with about 96 right there, and I got on top of that.
What did you do? Got me up in the press box watching it or what?
You were doing the pre and post game.
He launched this one.
Well, that was our only run of the day, and he proceeded to strike me out a couple times. Let's not leave that out as well. So. But it was a lot of fun. I loved it. It got me going. I got excited for it.
Where's the long hair that you had?
Well, I mean, you can't do that on TV anymore, right?
Now, do we have a shot of Bill up eating in the press room?
Yeah, I was going to say, where was I out in right field watching to take a shot of me? I mean, Hey, let me tell you about, you know what? We only came over here one time a year, either at Wrigley Field or at Old Comiskey Park. It was just as exciting, and it was for the boys' club.
Correct.
If there's some special feeling, it's been a long time, so it's hard for me to remember. But what I like is the energy, the whole thing. Now, the Blackhawks won the Cup. You go out to the ballpark. We haven't had that energy for a while. Now it's back. I think it'll be better tomorrow. better the next day. I think it's a good lift for the players. I think it's good for baseball. I mean, there's a lot of players that don't like to play the same team 6 times in the National League Interleague play. I think it turned baseball around. I really do. You know, it used to be the World Series. You get to see a National League team. Hey, now you get to see superstars from other teams. I think it's anything that's good for baseball and improves attendance, which I think this has done. I think it's terrific.
So when you came to play those, if the Sox were struggling, this got your juices going. Maybe it's like a little thing, like a fire starter to get somebody rolling.
Big time, Cap. I'm telling you, this is great baseball for the city. And it feels like a World Series because you got both sides of the town, and no one wants to play bad in the Crosstown series because the media will let you know you sucked it up, you played well, and I'm telling you, it motivates guys to take their game to the next level over the next few weeks.
How did you enjoy it? Because when you went to play at U.S. Cellular, you know, because you got Cub Blue on, the crowd is going to be all over you. When you came to Wrigley, crowd's going to be all over you. But you have to almost feed off of that.
Well, I loved it. I loved hostile environments. For me, I was the guy. I loved playing in Philadelphia because I knew everybody was going to be yelling at me, whether I was in left field or center or right, wherever I was at, that it was coming. When I played with the Dodgers going into San Francisco, I had beer poured on me, and you were hated. But there was nothing better than going out there and getting a big hit in a big ball game against 45,000 fans that were all against you. I mean, that's the stuff that I lived for. I had, honestly, my best memory of the whole thing is when I robbed Joe Creedy of a home run during a Maddox start, and I loved it. I mean, it was so exciting. All the people were just yelling at me as I'm throwing the ball back in. You know, like you said, it gets your juices flowing, and it should get you excited. And both of these ball clubs right now have a reason to want to move forward and try to find some hope that's left in this season. If they can do that, there's no reason that a series like this can't propel that.
All right, still to come on the show, we will look ahead to Game 2 of the BP Crosstown Cup. We'll be right back.
Get award-winning sports coverage and analysis from Rick Morrissey and Rick Tellender all season long, only in the Chicago Sun-Times, Chicago's original fan.
Haker Clothing presents Great Moments in Menswear.
High fly ball. It could be. It's gone. Wow, somebody just got a Game 7 souvenir.
It's another perfect day out here today.
Can I get you anything else?
We got to get back to work.
On the move. We even saw a kid taking a bath in a water fountain. Whoop, I spoke too soon. This just in. A freak storm is blowing into the area. We're going to be experiencing hurricane-force winds and dense fog, followed by sheets of driving rain. Stay inside, hunker down, grab a beer. This is going to be a long one.
Buffalo Wild Wings. You have to be here.
We're receiving reports of hail the size of... Oh, boy.
Parents Magazine and Edmunds.com called it one of the best family cars of 2009. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety calls it a 2010 top safety pick. Consumers Digest has called it a best buy 2 years in a row. And with a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, we call it peace of mind. Chevy Malibu. Now qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on this 2010 Malibu LS for around $199 a month. Call for details. See your local Chevy dealer.
What if we just do what we did out west?
Oh, I've seen this. That guy dies at the end.
Don't worry about Jake. He's the least of our worries.
AT&T Uverse. Watch any show you record in any room. Switch today and get Uverse TV for $39 a month for 6 months with DVR included.
Thinking about your Florida beach vacation and about what's happening in the Gulf? Here's what you need to know. Florida has 825 miles of beaches, 221 of them right here in Northwest Florida. 221 miles. That's a lot of beach to choose from. There are plenty of places in Florida where you can enjoy crystal clear waters and a great beach vacation. See for yourself in real time. Go to Florida Live and visit Florida.com for live webcams, beach updates, daily videos, and real-time photos.
Sports Rise, every morning on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Welcome back to BP Crosstown Cup post-game live presented by Sylvania. I'm David Kaplan, joined by Todd Hollinsworth, Bill Melton, and the Big Hurt, Frank Thomas. All right, let's check out the pitching matchup for tomorrow's game. Mark Burley, 3-6 with a .540 in 70 innings against the biggest surprise in baseball from a pitching perspective. 8-0 Carlos Silva with a dandy .293. He's throwing 67 2/3. Holly, nobody saw this coming. I remember going out to spring training the day they reported. And the first question to Jim Hendry, somebody said, hey, off the record, are you just going to release this guy before spring training? And he's like, no, we'll give him a chance to compete for a job. He's 8-0.
The comparisons were off the charts who he was being compared to early in spring training, and they weren't all good. But, I mean, if I told you we were going to get rid of Milton Bradley and pick up a guy who's 8-0 with a .293.
And save $6 million.
Where do you think this team should be at this point in the season? I mean, is it just amazing where they're at? He has absolutely become this team's stopper, and they're going to need for him to be the stopper again tomorrow. Throwing strikes, pepper in the strike zone, 12 walks, almost 70 innings this year. Look for more of the same. This man has been locked in. He needs to be the stopper. He's going to come out and throw strikes. White Sox hitters better be ready for that because he's been changing speeds. He's had a great changeup and a good slider to go with a fastball that he's spotting both on the inside and outside corner.
All right, let's take a look at Ozzie Guillen in the postgame. Hear what the manager of the White Sox had to say.
I think Rios, AJ, PK have a big days, and Quintus a pinch hit. Swing the ball, we're all swing the ball pretty good. That was good. I think we need the offense to start hitting the way we started hitting the last couple of days. I think PV, he was outstanding. I wish I could get another inning, but I think it was good enough. With the lead we had confidence in our bullpen. I think he did what he had to do, and overall, we play good baseball. I think playing in Wrigley Field with the way the wind was blowing and all the scenario, but you have to, this ballpark can run very small when the wind like that. We pitch well.
Do you finally see a spark with this team that you've been waiting for weeks?
We play better. We play better. I think we're not going to get too excited. Hopefully those, every time you win, you bring more the momentum to the team is better. I think we don't have that all year long. I think every time you play this ball club and you play here, it's for another reason. You take it to the next level. Fans into it. It was surprised. I was very surprised. I was very pleased and very proud of the Chicago fans. A lot of people was talk about nobody going to come here watch this game and this game mean anything. And look at maybe sold out. That's how how many baseball fans out there. But when you win, everything's good.
AJ's always a big-time player, and this series always brings the best out of him.
He played good against the Cubs in the past, too, especially in this ballpark. Swing the bat very well. He's been swinging the bat last couple of days very good. A couple big hits for us in that series against Detroit. When this guy starts swinging the bat better, make our lineup a lot better.
All right, Sox manager Ozzie Guillen. Before we get out of here, Carlos Silva goes tomorrow. You've faced him many times. You hit number 500 off him.
Yes, I did. But I'll tell you what about this guy. He will fight you to the end. He's a battler, and everyone's surprised he's 8-0. He's in a different league. He attacks the strike zone. He changes speeds. He's always got a chance to win. Tomorrow could be a very quick ball game. You got Mark Burley going and Carlos Silva. You just never know what might happen. These guys will attack the strike zone. It could be a short game. It could be a long game because they're in the strike zone all day long.
With all the heat, you never know. It's humid. The ball could fly out of there. Guys, thank you for being here. It's been a lot of fun.
My pleasure.
All right, for Frank, for Bill, for Todd, I'm David Keppel. That's all for this edition of BP Crosstown Cup Postgame Live, presented by Sylvania. You have a great day. I'll have more coming up in a couple minutes on CTL, including the Blackhawks celebration. We'll see you.
Cubs Postgame Live is presented to you in high definition by Sylvania HD LCD TVs and Blu-ray disc players. You must see baseball in stunning high definition.
There's nothing like seeing Chicago baseball in stunning high definition. And there's nothing like watching the biggest new DVD releases on breathtaking Blu-ray. Bring home the best in home entertainment with the Sylvania HD LCD flat screen and the outstanding Sylvania Blu-ray disc player. Available today at Sears.
Hi guys, what brings us here today?
Here, read this.
Dear Michael, my friends and I would be honored if you and the authority assist us in our quest to bring home the coveted cup. Thanks, Landon.
Let me guess. 2018?
USA and Brazil 2010 team gear. In stores now. And get up to a $50 cash card when you spend $200 or more on Nike.
Authority now.
Sports Authority, your soccer authority.
Steady, boys! Steady!
Is this Men's Warehouse?
No, it's just over that hill.
You want suits? They got the top designers.
There's even an on-site tailor every day. A snip here, a stitch there.
Well, let them know you're coming. Release the pigeon.
There's a place men belong. That place is Men's Warehouse. Right now, during our summer sale, buy one designer suit and get one free. I guarantee it.
He wants the lefty.
Comcast Sportsnet answers the call. Catch us on Sports Night and CSNChicago.com. Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Every weeknight at 5:30, only one show covers Chicago sports the right way. Chicago Tribune Live. Join host David Kaplan in a nightly roundtable with Chicago's biggest sports stars, celebrities, and journalists as they tackle every angle of the sports world.
Obviously, we get treated so great here in Chicago, and, we're trying to do something special. We know we have a great opportunity as a team here.
Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Harris Bank. Tonight at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Hi, I'm David Kaplan. It's Friday, June 11th, and this is a celebration edition of Chicago Tribune Live.
It's unbelievable. I can't believe how big this crowd is. They just keep coming. It's unbelievable. I've never seen a parade like this. The fans love the Blackhawks.
The city celebrates the Hawks, and we have all the pictures and reaction from the parade and the rally. Lost in the Hawks celebration was round one of the Crosstown Classic between the Cubs and the White Sox. But the pregame was the story from Wrigley. From Lou.
The same way that I get called ridiculous, they're ridiculous in the way they report things, too.
To Ozzy.
The way we play right now seems like we hate each other.
We'll have highlights and reaction. Plus, the Big Ten has a brand new member. It's all next on a Friday edition of Chicago Tribune Live, and it starts right now. See it, the Blackhawks celebrate their Stanley Cup victory with one of the most memorable parades in Chicago history. An estimated 2 million people showed up on Michigan Avenue to celebrate their Stanley Cup champion, Chicago Blackhawks. Good afternoon. Welcome to this Friday edition of Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Harris Bank. It is a pleasure to be with you. I'm David Kaplan. We start with today's headlines that can be seen right now on ChicagoBreakingSports.com. The White Sox got the first bragging rights, slamming the Cubs 10-5 at Wrigley today in round one of the Crosstown Classic. Highlights in a bit. As we just showed you, the Hawks had quite the celebration today downtown with a parade and rally to celebrate their Stanley Cup victory. And Notre Dame Athletic Director Jack Swarbrick said today that the changes that have impacted most of the major conferences of college athletics have no effect on the University of Notre Dame. All right, let's meet our guests on today's show. From the Tribune, Hawks beat writer Chris Cook. Another tripster, my guy Bob Fultman is here. From Sporting News Radio, Jason Gotch is in the house. Good to have you guys here. All right, this morning the Blackhawks boarded double-decker buses and paraded through the streets of downtown Chicago, celebrating their first Stanley Cup victory in nearly 50 years. Players, families, legends, and upper management strolled down Washington Street before making the turn on the magnificent mile to ticker tape and literally millions of people. Conn Smythe winner Jonathan Taves and star Patrick Kane in the final bus with the Stanley Cup trophy before getting off the buses at a podium at the intersection of Michigan and Wacker.
Wow. Unbelievable. I didn't know this many people in Chicago. This is unbelievable. You guys are the best fans in the world. That's all I can say right now. We started this thing at the start of the playoffs. It was as crazy as it's ever been at the Madhouse on Madison. But every single game we won, every single time we got closer to the cup, our ultimate goal, you guys got crazier, the city got crazier, and then it's escalating right now. I just couldn't imagine it was going to get to this point. You guys are absolutely amazing. You make this special for us. Each guy in this locker room, each guy is a special guy here. Not everyone gets noticed for what they do behind the scenes, but it's an amazing group of guys. We all grew up with a dream of doing this. We couldn't imagine doing it in a city like Chicago.
All right, the city of Chicago said 2 million plus were in attendance today. That is incredible. Your thoughts?
Yeah, amazing display of fans and come out to support the team that pretty much won their hearts throughout the season, and been a remarkable turnaround from 3 years ago when probably couldn't get, 10,000 out there, and now 2 million people on the streets of Chicago.
I remember '85 when they went down LaSalle Street with the Bears, and you couldn't move, and it reminds me of that. At least they moved it to a little bigger venue, Michigan Avenue this time. I don't remember 2005, the Sox, because I was at a Hawks practice that day, actually, right off the lockout. But, you know, the city turns out for winners. And, look, I said during the drought, this was a good hockey market. And the fact that people didn't show up when they were bad was not a reflection of a lack of interest. It was just a reflection of a bad team that people just got tired of supporting. And once they turned it around, they were going to be there. And this just proves it. It's always been a good hockey market. They were just dying for a winner, and they finally got one.
How about your thoughts?
I just think it speaks to the turnaround over almost the last 3-year span of how well they've marketed. They've seemed to have done everything right. Committed to winning, signed Marian Hossa, signed guys to big contracts, built a good core. I mean, it's just an example of how to run a sports franchise correctly. And like everybody said, when you have that franchise run correctly and they win, this town celebrates as well or probably better than any town in the country. And major sports team, people love a winner.
There is no cooler trophy anywhere in sports. I know the World Cup's a huge deal, and there are other sports that are cool, and the Heisman's cool, and the roses they put at the Kentucky Derby, it's cool. But there is nothing close to that.
I think you're right, and I think it's apropos of the grind it takes to win that. They call it the most difficult trophy to win, and, you know, after seeing this team and what these teams gone through the last couple of months here, I believe it. I mean, it's just, you know, the grind of the regular season, that's one thing, but then it kind of reset and have 16 teams, you know, battle it out is pretty amazing. And to get this far, obviously, definitely the trophy kind of makes up for it.
It's the only trophy, too, where they really share it with the public. You know, the World Series trophy, you don't go around to different neighborhoods or take it to Ann Sather's or, you know, to restaurants and that. You don't do, you know, the Bulls didn't do that, I don't believe, with their trophies, any of their 6. I don't think the Bears did it with the Lombardi trophy. It's really the only trophy that really goes around and people get a chance to really be with it. Just average people who aren't, you know, athletes or part of the team. And I think that's really the most unique thing about this trophy is that it's really shared with the general public, more so than any other trophy that a team wins.
Yeah, it's a great point because yesterday, see, they were at Gibson's, Tavern on Rush, Billy Deck's Rocket, Underground. Where else did they go yesterday? Stanley's, the Pony Inn. They stopped at the Palace Grill. In fact, Mike Haviland got off out of a limo, ran into the Palace Grill where he goes to eat near the stadium all the time, went in, hugged his favorite waitress, said he just wanted to say thanks for all the support all year, gotta go, ran out the door and left.
Just 2 days after, and every guy will get a day with it, and he'll take it to his hometown. Or, you know, I remember one year when the New Jersey Devils won.
It was at Wrigley.
And their athletic trainer was from
one of my best friends, Bill Murray.
High school from up north, and he took it to his high school and had it in high school and had the kids see it. That, to me, is what makes the Stanley Cup so unique and so much different than any other sport.
That day, Bill Murray, the trainer at the time, brought it to one of the rooftop skybox on Sheffield, took it in the Cubs locker room so the players could all take pictures because he's a Cub fan, and then he sat it in the seat next to him at the stadium. It was awesome.
And he took it to his I forget what high school he went to.
Notre Dame, I believe. Weber.
Yeah.
I think it was Weber.
Yeah.
The old Weber High School.
And what makes it special, too, is you don't get to keep it for more than the year that you have it. After that's over, somebody else gets it, and you might never, well, in the Hawks case, it took 49 years to get it back. The other ones, you know, you walk into U.S. Cellular Field, you see the World Series trophy. You walk into the United Center with the Bulls headquarters, you see the 6 trophies. They won the championship. That one has to leave at some point, so you really have to, if you want it again, you better win it again, or it's not going to come to town for a long time.
So they don't make a replica for the organization, or do they?
No, they don't, but there's a replica that I think it's in Toronto at the Hall of Fame.
Right.
So there's always one there. But this is the actual cup.
But so they will not have that type of thing displayed at the stadium?
No.
Just a banner, and then they get their rings.
Right.
And I think even Taves, the Conn Smythe Trophy, that
also resides in Toronto.
Yeah, that will go back to the league after a certain amount of time, too.
You ever get a chance, go to Toronto, the Hockey Hall of Fame. It's got all the trophies there. It's a nice display. It's great.
Yeah, I didn't realize what a cool trophy the Conn Smythe Trophy is.
I mean, hockey has the other sports beaten hands down with their trophies. I mean, they're all massive. They're all very, ornate, and they're just very, very cool.
All right. Once on the podium today, a lot of the players had fun with their comments, from singing to shirtless references, taxi cab references, if you know what we mean. We've put together some of the best from today's rally. Take it away.
It's been a long season. We've gotten to know each other pretty well. I think over the course of a year, you tend to learn that your teammates have some pretty special qualities. We got a goalie that can stand on his head. We got a lot of guys that can put the puck in the net. And we got one player that's pretty good at singing songs. Does anybody want to hear a song? All right, everybody. Number 32, Chris Versteeg. Let's do a little rap I made up. Every time I dive in my pool, it's hard to be humble. Well, I do a breaststroke through an underground tunnel and come up on the other side in a jacuzzi, being greeted by two girls that are wearing my jersey. They give me lots of hugs and kisses, and they ask me what my wish is. I say, go and get your friends, because there's gonna be a party. And in the end, the Stanley Cup is a dream, and I'm like, yes, the party's
Who knows a good dentist, by the way? Anyone got a dentist? Yeah, we love it.
It's really a treat to be here. I'll tell you one thing, I'll try to keep my shirt on all summer, just for you guys. For all the cab drivers out there, I love you. On this team, we got this belt right here. We hand it off after every game, and we give it to a player that we think deserves it. And after the last game, I never got the chance to hand it out. But for all you cab drivers out there, better be careful, because this guy's going to take it home this summer. Number 88, Patrick Kane.
All right, your favorite memory or lasting image from today? For me, it was Duncan Keith. I just thought he stole the show when he got up there and talked about needing a good dentist. And he looked so comfortable up there. That was my favorite.
Yeah, I liked Rocky Wirtz. I mean, I thought he was very genuine, and I think he's kind of got a lot of adulation throughout the season and throughout the last couple of years, but really to have 2 million people kind of thanking him the way they have, I thought was pretty special.
To me, nothing beats the buses going down the main avenue, no matter where you're at.
Like
85, or just, whenever there's a celebration, you had the parade and just the throngs of people. That to me hits home that, yes, this team won a championship. When you see the confetti and everything and you got the cup on the bus, that is always the best part for me.
The Bulls never did that.
No, but at Grant Park was fine, too. I mean, it's a different way of celebrating. I actually wondered why they didn't do this in Grant Park, but I guess the Blues Fest is going on. But, it just seems so congested. But maybe that's the idea, because then it makes it maybe more special. But I like Grant Park, too. I thought that was a good way to do it.
I definitely say Patrick Kane. I thought he showed a sense of humility and kind of joked around with the whole cab driver thing and keeping the shirt on. And nothing says a good sports rally. There's always seems to be a politician there that mispronounces something in the mayor when he called him Joe Quenneville instead of Joe Quenneville. And nothing against the mayor, but it always every political rally, it seems. So I guess that was it made me laugh at least. But Kane was definitely good.
Enduring images for the rest of our lives about the Blackhawks finally winning the Stanley Cup. Time for our first break here on Chicago Tribune Live. Much more from the rally in just a minute. The Hawks parade is surely one of the top memories of the entire season. When we return, we get the panel's favorite moment from the long season. Plus, buried in the celebration of the Stanley Cup champions, round one of the Crosstown Classic between the Cubs and the Sox. We have highlights and the fiery comments from Lou Piniella before the game later in the show. And our CSNChicago.com poll question of the day: which championship celebration did you enjoy most? A, the Blackhawks today, the 85 Bears, the 05 White Sox, or all the Grant Park celebrations of the Bulls back in the 90s? To vote, visit CSNChicago.com. Scroll down. It's on the right side of the page. We'll have the results later in the show.
Chicago Tribune Live is brought to you by the Chicago Tribune. Our team has your team covered in print, online, and on your mobile phone. Comcast Sportsnet congratulates the Chicago Blackhawks on being Stanley Cup champions.
Line change.
Harris. Proud sponsor and loyal fan of the Chicago Blackhawks. Harris.
Try this.
Proud sponsor and loyal fan of the Chicago Blackhawks.
For a limited time only, save up to 65%. Call your travel agent or 1-800-SANDALS.
Summer savings splash.
On all Hondas from Illinois' #1 volume Honda dealer, Bob Rohrman, Schaumburg Honda Automobiles.
More than 1,500 Hondas available. Get 0.9 APR on new Accords, Civics, and more.
Bob Rohrman. Nobody beats Bob. Nobody. Bob Rohrman, Schaumburg Honda Automobiles, just 8 blocks west of Woodfield Mall on Gulf Road, Schaumburg.
You're watching the home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet.
Anybody want Pat Kane's cell phone number? Guys, when I came here 5 years ago, never in my wildest dreams did I think that we'd be celebrating this quickly with all of you. With all the hard work from everybody on this stage, everybody in the front office, our owner Rocky Wirtz, and every one of you fans that supported us over the years, we're proud to say that today we're Stanley Cup champions.
Patrick Sharp showing his appreciation earlier today at the intersection of Michigan and East Wacker at the Hawks Parade and Rally. We've already gone over our favorite moments from today's parade, but what about the entire season? Before we get into our moments from the season, Pat Boyle takes us on a season-long journey of the highs and the lows. Enjoy.
There have been highs and lows.
Zip, they score!
There has been magic.
Niemi! How did he make that save? And Team Niemi said no.
And there's been pain.
He pushes him from behind.
There have been awe-inspiring comebacks. And huge meltdowns.
He scores! They got to pull the goalie, Enzo.
There was nervousness in the Music City.
Rebound score!
Followed by Predator annihilation.
The Blackhawks will go to the second round.
New arrivals. And sad departures. We had controversies and new golden impressions.
Big save by Niemi!
There's been a goalie's emergence. And an arrival in style.
He scores!
There was Big Buff's goal barrage.
Here comes Dustin Bufflin.
And a Pronger learning his lesson.
James Wisniewski had one thing in mind.
Former friends supplied scary moments. And there were changes in goal. Cold Steel on Ice went Hollywood. And Deja Vu in Vancouver.
Kane right in. He scores! UA threw that one away.
There were slumps. And there was Shark Tank domination. There was a coming of age.
He scores!
And there was rejuvenation.
Hawks win!
So as you run through these images with the moments fresh in your mind,
another Niemi no-no.
Enjoy them for a moment and keep the memories alive.
The Hawks win the Stanley Cup! The Hawks win the Stanley Cup!
Brace yourself, Chicago. It's celebration time.
Absolutely awesome. Well done, Pat Boyle and our great Comcast Sportsnet crew. Favorite moment of the season? Now, you get access we don't get. Is it something you saw that the rest of us at home didn't see, or is it an on-ice event?
Well, tough to nail down one. Some I can't talk about, but one on the ice, one off the ice fast. I think when they went to San Jose, Marian Hossa made his debut, and they just drilled the Sharks.
7-2.
7-2. I turned to someone, maybe it would have been Tim Sassone of the Herald or somebody, I said, this team looks like a Stanley Cup winner. And that was the first time I really thought this could happen. And the other one was just watching this team go to the Tonight Show in Burbank, California, and sitting there in that audience with them, and I was just thinking, what other team does this happen to? You know, it's just miraculous the places you end up with this team. And those are kind of the two lasting memories for me. But it's just an incredible ride all the way from October now till now.
I was kind of struck on how they really didn't face a whole lot of adversity throughout the season. I mean, the only adversity, the goaltending controversy, was more our creation because really there was really nothing really to talk about with this team because they were on such a roll, and whenever they lost 2 in a row, it seemed like the sky was falling in because we were just so not used to it. But I go back to the playoffs, Game 5, Nashville at the United Center, the closing seconds were really, they were on a knife's edge. And you lose that game, now you have to go into Nashville facing elimination. Who knows if we're even sitting here talking about a Stanley Cup. Nashville makes a horrible play in the Hawks' end instead of just killing off the game, and then Kane scores a shorthanded goal, and the rest is history. But I go back to that, and that was probably the first time or the only time, really, the whole season where they were really sitting there facing adversity because they really did not face much of any throughout the course of the year. It was really amazing.
I agree with that one completely, and I'll add the Buffalo hit on Pronger, too, because it was a 2-0 series. Everybody was getting the Stanley Cup parade ready. They go back to Philly. They lose 2 games. There's a lot of questions for this team coming into Game 5. Philly had some momentum, and Pronger had been playing really well. In that game, he kind of self-destructed, and in turn, he really had the best of Buffalo until that point, and when Buffalo really knocked him down, I thought that set a tone. The Blackhawks weren't going to be intimidated, and people were questioning were they physical enough, and clearly they were in that game, and they won out. And of course, tied with that one would have to be when Kane threw the gloves off. He knew it was a goal. Nobody else did. I mean, in my lifetime, they never won the Stanley Cup, and we're all, you see Patrick Kane do it. He's not celebrating like that unless he knows something like that puck's in the net.
Yeah, probably for me, and you touched on the Patrick Kane shorthanded goal in the Nashville game. I was fortunate to be there. I think that one showed you how thin the margin is from champion to being knocked out in the first round. But the other one was I went as a fan with a buddy of mine. My friend Jeff took me in his season tickets. We went to the Calgary game early in the season. Sure. And he'd been asking me a few times. I'm always working. I said, all right, I'll go with you tonight. We sit down, and I mean, no sooner had I gotten something to drink, they're 5-0 down. And he said, hey, I'm really sorry for taking you to the worst game of the year. Want to leave and go to dinner. And I said, you know what? I haven't been here as a fan yet this year. Let's just hang out. And the next thing you know, they come back and chip away, and they win it 6-5 against a darn good goalie in Mika Kiprusoff. Right. That one probably told me this team has some special qualities.
I would say that was the first magical moment of the season.
No doubt.
One thing, I was on the ice after they won the Cup, and I ran into Joe Quenneville, and we were just talking a little bit, and he said, he was talking about those first games in Finland. He said, we lost that first game, and already we'd lost the Cup, the way people reacted. It was just amazing that Bob was right. They didn't lose very many games, but every time they did, whoop, they blew it. Every time he gave up a goal, whoop, we got the wrong goalie. Miami comes in, he gives up a goal. It's just amazing that they were able to maintain that high level of play throughout the season with really only one little small dip after the Olympics.
Joel Quenneville.
It's
Absolutely.
also amazing, too, how this team went from having 0 expectations 2-3 years ago. Your first year on the beat, really, if they made they didn't make the playoffs that year, coming off a horrible year, my last year, and really the expectations were just be respectable. Just, 500 would be great. To now, all of a sudden, they went into the season where if they didn't win the Stanley Cup, it was going to be a failure. And that was just, it's amazing to me how the turnaround and the expectations so fast came with that team.
Well, obviously, when John McDonough and Jay Blount came in, Rocky Wirtz, obviously the owner, hired them and he took over. That turned it, but there was something that happened shortly before that that was so irreverent that the casual fan went, whoa. When Dennis Savard walked up to that post-game press conference and said, you know what? We pay you people a lot of money. You don't like it. You're not going to commit to the Indian. I'll go upstairs. We'll get you out of here. Even the casual fan went, wow, because it sounded almost Mike Ditka-esque. And people started to pay attention a little bit more.
And you realized then that they weren't going to put up with losing anymore.
Correct.
I mean, when Dennis Savard does that, arguably the nicest man on the planet, and he gets that fired up, and they listened to him, they responded. And just this culture of losing and small attendance and everything else just kind of was thrown out the window. Exactly.
Totally agree. All right, time for another break on this Friday edition of Chicago Tribune Live. We have plenty of baseball to get to from Wrigley today. Alfonso Soriano, a game-tying home run early against the Sox, but it was the White Sox bats that did most of the damage. Highlights next, and it was quite the pregame from both Lou and Ozzie. Both managers sound off, especially Lou. We'll tell you why and hear what they said next on CTL.
The Chicago Blackhawks have won the Stanley Cup for the first time in 49 years. To commemorate this historic event, BigTimeBats.com has released this exclusive, officially licensed Stanley Cup Champions Puck and exclusive puck case. The mirrored back puck case measures 10 inches by 5 inches by 5.5 inches. You can purchase the Stanley Cup Champions Puck and case for $69.95 plus shipping and handling. Call 1-866-280-BATS or see it at BigTimeBats.com.
Save Guys Pizza. Text Wise Guys to 72466 for big savings on a lunch or dinner buffet. Buy one, get the second half price. Text Wise Guys to 72466 and you'll get the text coupon on your phone. Wise Guys Buffet has 8 styles of pizza, chicken wings, pasta, and a big salad bar. Remember, text Wise Guys to 72466 and get half off Wise Guys Buffet. Don't forget to show your phone. Offer ends September 1st.
Your relationships are valuable. That's why Mediacom Phone gives you unlimited free nationwide calling. So if there's big important news, or just news about the weather, whether your friends live across town or across the country, you can always just pick up the phone and chat as much as you want for no extra charge. And even the features, like caller ID, are free. And that's the value of Mediacom Phone, the greatest connection with the best technology.
Got HBO? Then you've got HBO On Demand free. See the hit series, see the big movies, and see them all on your schedule with HBO On Demand. Choose from over 140 movies and shows, updated weekly. Watch what you want as often as you like. You control it all. HBO On Demand. It's HBO anytime. And it's free with your HBO subscription.
GMC Sports Night, tonight on Comcast Sportsnet.
Welcome back to Chicago Tribune Live, presented by our friends at Harris Bank. We will talk with the Trib's Dave Van Dyke in just a moment. But first, look at the headlines in Chicago sports today. An estimated 2 million people attended the parade and rally this morning to celebrate the Hawks' first Stanley Cup win since way back in 1961. Jonathan Taves, Patrick Kane rode on a double-decker bus with the Stanley Cup and Conn Smythe Trophy. The parade route started at the United Center and ended at the intersection of Wacker and Michigan. It's official. Nebraska headed to the Big Ten. Nebraska officially applied for membership today, proposing to play in the new conference begin in 2011 after one more year in the Big 12. Nebraska Chancellor Harvey Perlman believes Nebraska is much more, quote, aligned with the Big Ten than the Big 12 when it comes to academics, culture, and athletics. Boise State has given the Mountain West Conference a 10th program. Boise State leaving the Western Athletic Conference, the WAC, a league the Broncos have dominated for a decade in football. Boise State becomes the second institution to join the Mountain West in the past 6 years after TCU was added in 2005. Conference was founded in 1998 with 8 members.
4 touchdown throws from Kurt.
Cubs and Sox, round 1 of the Crosstown Classic at Wrigley. Top first, Sox on the board. First leading 1-0 with 2 outs, 2 on. AJ singles to center. Paulie Konerko scores. Sox lead 2-0. Bottom 2-1 on, no outs. Alfonso Soriano has left the building. Takes Jake Peavy way out to center. His 10th bomb of the year, career number 300. Ties it at 2-2. Then it was all White Sox. Top 5, 2 on, no outs. Sox RBI leader Paul Konerko doubles down the left field line. Alexi Ramirez, Alex Rios score. Sox led 4-2.
Standing, and Paul Konerko knocks in 2.
Jump to the top of the 8th. Sox leading 6-2. Jeff Russell pitching for the Cubs. Carlos Quentin pinch hits for Peavy. And Quentin, well, he's left the building. A solo bomb to left. His 8th of the year. Sox led 7-2. 3 batters later, 8-2 Sox. 1 on for Alex Rios. A 4-hit day. A 2-run jack. His 13th of the season. That was his first time ever in the Crosstown Classic, and he was 4 for 4. Sox go on to win 10-5. After the game, Rios responded to the Sox big run production as of late.
I don't think it's that easy to score this many runs. You know, lately we've been putting good swings on the ball. We've been moving the runners and doing the simple things, and it's been working for us.
I'm not exactly beaming with confidence right now. You know, got roughed up a little bit. You know, my ERA's ballooned up, and you know, not winning games. But you know, my approach is the same. You know, go out aggressive and throw strikes, and hopefully good things happen. So. You know, I think I need to tinker with some stuff. I need to make some adjustments and get back to the basics and maybe find something, a little edge that can get me on, back on track.
All right, the Sox dominate Game 1. First time both teams facing each other under 500 since way back in 2002. Now, this game, the Sox just looked like they brought their hitting shoes. Other than the home run, Peavy was really good. Randy Wells was just not good.
Yeah, and again, from the Sox standpoint, 3 in a row now. It's a start. Are they going to get themselves back in the AL Central race? I don't think so. I think the hole's too big. I just don't think that this team is as good as Detroit and Minnesota in the Central. But, you know, can they put a little run together and make some heat? Maybe. You know, it's still a pitching staff that you think should be better than what they've shown so far. You know, I'm not sure Peavy is going to dominate like he did in the National League with the Sox, but he's starting to pitch a little better. If Burley can come around, you know, maybe they can put together a 2.5 week run and make things interesting. But, you know, it's a start. Let's put it this way. And, you know, they're starting to swing the bats. And this is usually a team that, when the weather gets warm the last couple of years, they start swinging the bats better.
Right. Much of the talk, though, has been centered around the pregame comments of Cubs manager Lou Piniella, who went off on members of the media, specifically Sox and CSN analyst Steve Stone.
It's a tough situation. I know that I get criticized for it. We've got a lot of people here that haven't managed and won any games in the big leagues, but they know everything, you know? They really do. I think they should try to put the uniform on and try this job and see how they like it when they get criticized unjustly, you know? That's all I got to say about that issue. But you get tired of it. I'm trying to do the best job I possibly can, and the only people I need to listen to are the people in my organization. That's it. But I get tired of being nitpicked, and I get tired of being criticized unjustly. Why don't they talk to me first before they do it, okay? And get my viewpoints and my feelings, and then make a determination. You know? The same way that I get called ridiculous, they're ridiculous in the way they report things, too.
You saw Jake Peavy in the National League, probably.
Yes.
And are you surprised that he's struggled a little bit in the AL?
And another thing I'm going to say. I've won over 1,800 games as a manager, and I'm not a damn dummy. That I can tell you. Okay? There are only 13 others that have won more games than me. So I think I know what the hell I'm doing. Why should I be, talk to me. Get my feelings. Get my viewpoints. All right? And then if you don't agree with me, say what you want. But at least give me the courtesy of defending myself and giving my explanations on why things are done and not done. That's all I ask. And that's only fair.
Plan on talking to him at all?
I don't care about talking to him. I'm talking to you for them. But I'm tired of it. You know, and Steve Stone, he's got enough problems doing what he does with the White Sox. What job has he had in baseball besides talking on television or radio? What has he done? Why isn't he a farm director and bring some kids around? Why isn't he a general manager? Why hasn't he ever put the uniform on and been a pitching coach? Why hasn't he been a field manager? There's 30 teams out there that could use a guy's expertise like that. You know? I'm tired of some of these guys. I really am. That's it. Now let's go to baseball.
Well, then Stoney got involved and responded with comments of his own.
Lou's paid $4 million to make a choice. But this is a big city media. And I assume in a big city media, you look into the various moves that are made. And some are terrific, and some aren't terrific. It's just the way it goes. So, because this game is not a black and white game, it's a game with shades of gray, then everybody is entitled to his opinion.
Wow. For more on the Crosstown Classic and the pregame comments of Cubs manager Lou Piniella, we go live to Wrigley Field and bring in the Tribune's great baseball writer, Dave Van Dyke. All right, Vandy, what was your reaction first to the game, second to Mount Lou?
Well, it was a good game, actually. I guess if you're a White Sox fan, it's a good game. You know, it's a fun game, and it was close for a while, and it was a good game. Lots of home runs. I think the better team won, I will say that. You know, the American League has proved in their league play that it's the better team, and the White Sox were easily the better team today.
Hey, Vandy, it's Bob Fultman. You know, we listened to Lou before the game, and certainly the pressure's been on him since he got here. Expectations for the Cubs just seem to go up every year. How much longer do you think he's going to last before he just says, you know what, I don't need this anymore?
Well, I think he goes all year. I don't know why he would quit in the middle of the year. I'm not sure I blame him if he quit pretty soon, the way things are going. But I don't think he's that type of guy to walk away from something like this. I think he's going to try to keep working to get it turned around. You know, yeah, it's frustrating. I'll tell you, it's frustrating. If anybody was up in Milwaukee yesterday like I was and saw that game, it is really frustrating. That is easily the worst Cub game of the year, where they didn't pitch well, they didn't hit well, they didn't field well, they didn't think well. You know, it was just one of those games. It was awful. And to come off that game and be here at Wrigley Field and to have the White Sox as the opponent and 8 million media people here, at least all the ones who weren't the Blackhawks celebration, yeah, it's getting to be a tough time.
Hey, Dave, it's Jason Gotch with Sporting News Radio. Obviously, it's year 4 for Lou Piniella, and I don't think anybody really thinks he signed on for this. I'm sure he expected this team, especially after 07 and 08, to be a whole heck of a lot better in year 4 for him than they are. How much of his comments today towards Steve Stone and the general media criticism are really about those guys, or is this about that he's just overwhelmed with frustrations and really at this point doesn't have much answers for what's going on in the field because it's gone so bad?
Yeah, Jason, I think he's I'm trying to think how to put this. I think that it's kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, that it was there and it was a convenient thing. If it hadn't been the Steve Stone thing, it might have been something else today. I think he's just kind of at the fed-up point right now, and again, I don't blame him. And so that was kind of the thing and the catalyst to break it. And Stone was here. White Sox are here. Stone does both the White Sox and Cubs. It was just kind of the perfect time to do it. He's had a couple of other chances to say the same thing about Steve Stone. He hasn't done it yet, so I guess it kind of festered, and it was easy to pick on it. I just got a feeling that's what the whole thing was about, that it was Mount Luz, as we call him sometimes, and the lava was getting higher and higher, you know, it finally gets up and starts coming out. And I think that's all it was.
Andy, it's Chris Cook.
You know, Chris, before you start, congratulations, by the way. Good job on the Blackhawks.
Thank you.
But you know, Lou was a television commentator at Fox for 2 or 3 years too, and he knows the way the game works. He knows what happens upstairs in the booth, and he knows what happens in the dugout and manager's room, of course. So it isn't like he's a rookie at this type of thing. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
No worries. You know, for the first couple of months of the season, I've asked this question, and people say you need to wait through April, wait till May, you know, get into June so teams know what they have before you start talking some trades. I know that there aren't too many trades made around this time of season, but what's the buzz in the rooms? Are the Cubs and the Sox, are the players really talking about maybe there's going to be some changes and we're not going to be around much longer, or are they not talking about that? They're just trying to concentrate on turning things around.
Yeah, Chris, I haven't heard much talk in the Cub locker room about it. They don't have a lot of tradable players. The guys that somebody might want, you know, Soriano, Fukudome type, are making a lot. Zambrano making a lot of money or have no trades or whatever. The Sox, you hear a lot just because of who their general manager is, and he threatens people a lot. And the media asks people over there, to tell you the truth. It's just ask more on the South Side because I guess it's expected with Kenny Williams as the boss. Kenny Williams makes a trade seemingly every year at this time. Will he this year? I think he will, but I don't know. You know, Ozzie really believes in these White Sox, and I think Kenny does to some degree. And I think he might wait for a while. I think he might do a couple of things, but I don't look for a blockbuster, you know, in the near future. I think they'd like to see still what this team can do.
Vandy, we will see you at the yard tomorrow, and thank you for your time.
I'll be here. Look forward to it. Thanks, guys.
See you tomorrow. By the way, after the game, Ozzie said that A.J. will not be traded at least by tomorrow or by Sunday, because Sunday's when he becomes a 5-10 man and has the right to negate any trade opportunity. Lou Piniella wasn't the only manager to have strong pregame comments. White Sox manager Ozzie Guillen and GM Kenny Williams reportedly had words for each other in a feud over the MLB draft. Ozzie was asked if it was a fight between the pair.
I'm not ashamed to fight anyone. Last time I fought you, I was 10 years old. You know what I mean? I think, no, there's a couple when we talk, but, you know, there's nothing out of. First of all, I don't fight. I don't think we, or anyone, I don't think people go out there and resolve any problem fighting. I think you just talk about it. that situation will happen to a couple players, and that's it.
I don't even know really what happened. I just heard they got into a beef about something, and again, for me, that fits into that category of every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something happens, whether it's between those two or between somebody. It's just kind of the way we do it around here. And
all right, by the time this is all said and done, you got both managers involved in feuds, Piniella with Steve Stone, and full disclosure, with me. Today, Lou comes up, confronts me on the field, and said I was unfair in my post-game criticism of him after the loss on Tuesday. Now, these are comments, by the way, that he never heard. They were told to him. So I volunteered. I said, I'll get you a tape. You can listen to it because I know what I said. But I just find it amazing that someone would confront you. It's like confronting you guys writing or you on the radio and saying, how could you write that? What did I write? I don't know. I didn't see it. So... but he's unhappy, felt I was unfair and unduly harsh in my criticism.
Get that a lot. Get a lot of the guys saying, yeah, I don't read the papers. I don't watch TV. And then they come in, and they come and say, how could you write that? And especially when somebody says, yeah, I heard Cap said this. And then who knows what happened in the translation. But to me, that's a manager whose team is struggling. Maybe he's trying to take out some frustration, deflect away from how poorly this team is playing. You shouldn't worry about what's going on in the media. You should worry about what's happening on the field. And I think Lou's kind of lost perspective on that. On the flip side, there are a lot of people with opinions these days. But when David Kaplan says something who's out at the ballpark, when Steve Stone says something, I don't question those guys. So to me, I think he's off base here. He really's got to concentrate on getting that team righted on the field.
Thoughts?
We've gone, everybody who's been on a beat has gone through it before. I went through it with Trent Yawney one year. He was upset with me because I wrote that the Hawks power play was horrible when they were 29th in the league. How could you write that we're horrible? You're 29th in the league. What adjective would you rather me use? But again, it all comes down to, usually it's a byproduct of a team that's losing, and it's just frustration, and you just need to vent, and, we happen to be the nearest target and the most available target, and really, I don't think the general public gets too upset when a manager or a player rips the media. It's just something that, it's not like anybody's going to be...
part of the deal.
And nobody's going to be upset by that. Nobody's going to be offended, so it's no big deal.
Just like the manager says it's part of the gig when they get criticized for a pitching move or a substitution or getting a bunt or not asking for a bunt. Part of our gig is we get into it at times with players or with managers or general managers. Part of the deal.
There's going to be natural friction when a team's not playing well. I mean, he's looking for something, I think, to spout off on. And the idea that you don't criticize him, nobody's disrespecting the fact that he's won over 1,800 games. Nobody thinks Lou Piniella's dumb. But let's face it, a lot of people have opinions on baseball. It's a subjective business if you want to play Tyler Colvin or don't play Tyler Colvin. So there's going to be opinions that he has that differ from members of the media or the fans. But I don't fault anybody in the media for giving their opinion or fans giving their opinion. It's like if you go to a restaurant. Look, I've never been a professional chef. I know when I got a bad meal. I know the Cubs on the field right now are not playing good baseball. It's going really bad. And when you have a guy like Steve Stone said, Tyler Colvin, a young left-handed hitter who you feel a young player should get at bats when they're in that situation, either in the minor leagues or at the major league level. When they're in that situation, a lot of people think, hey, maybe sit down Kosuke Fukudome and Xavier Nada. It's not such a crazy opinion. And maybe actually a little part of me thinks that when guys go off like this, maybe you hit too close to home where Lou Piniella knows, hey, I got stuck with 5 guys here. I might not want a couple of these guys in my outfield. Maybe I do want to play Colvin, but my hands are tied. So maybe Steve Stone was hitting closer to home than we thought.
That's an interesting point. I've always felt that when I go on the air, I'm an extension of the fan who's watching or listening because I've been blessed to have this opportunity. I wasn't a professional athlete that got into this. This is what I do for a living. So if I don't represent the fans' interests the right way, just like you don't in your column, or you in the paper, or you on the radio, then we are being disingenuous to them. They, in essence, pay our salaries. I feel I got to be fair to the fans.
I've always found it interesting, though, that it's really, a movie critic doesn't go look at a movie and then immediately after the movie go and ask the director about the movie and why he did this, or go see a play and then after the play talk to the actors in the play and say, well, why did you do this? But yet we do this in sports, and I've never understood why. Because we always seem like we have to have the authoritative figure of the athlete or the coach telling us why something happened, when you could see, he either played well or he didn't play well. When we see a bad play, like you say, you go to a bad, you go get a bad meal, you don't go to the chef afterwards and say, well, now what happened on that second course there? It just amazes me how this has evolved over in time. And it's really only in the last 50 or so years that reporters did go down and talk to managers and athletes and get their opinion and put it in the paper. It was never done, and now you open up this can of worms and this is what you get out of it.
Yeah, the only time I could see where it's warranted is if you criticized a coach why didn't you play so-and-so? Or why didn't you make this pitching change? And you blast him without asking, and then he says, did you know he was unavailable? He's got the flu or he's hurt or whatever. That's the only time.
It's part of the job, too. I mean, you know, we pump up
your head bitten off at times.
Absolutely, but we pump those guys up when they deserve it, and we take them down when they deserve it. And they should know that, and they do know that.
The big problem I have is not one of those guys, if you say something nice about him, whether it's a hockey coach, a baseball manager, a football basketball, whatever, if you say 100 nice things, they never walk up to you and say, hey, thanks, you really said some nice things. You rip them one time, or you say something that they've deemed critical, they're all over you.
True story, though. 2004, when I was on the White Sox, I wrote a column, or it was like one off-day feature on Aaron Rowan, saying how, you know, he was off to a good start and he could be the center field answer for the Sox. Next day, Aaron Rowan came up to me and said, hey, you know what? That was really nice. Thanks. So it does happen. It does happen rarely, but it's you know, it depends on the individual.
Right.
All right, time for another break here on Chicago Tribune Live. When we return, conference expansion in college sports has changed college athletics forever. Nebraska officially applies for entry to the Big Ten today, putting the future of the Big 12 in serious jeopardy. We'll discuss the impact of college expansion next on the show.
A better deal is waiting for you at Grossinger Buick Lincolnwood. Only Grossinger is offering 0% financing for 72 months on new Buicks, or has 2010 Enclaves for just $29,900 and 2010 LaCrosses only $24,900. You'll always find a better deal at Grossinger Buick, including new Enclaves for $29,900, new LaCrosses $24,900, or 0 for 72 on every Buick. Grossinger, the last name you need to know.
Celebrate Empire's 50th anniversary with our gift to you. Free installation on quality name brand carpet. Shop at home and enjoy the wide selection, great prices, and next day installation Empire is famous for, with no interest for a year. Plus, right now, we'll install your new carpet absolutely free. It's our gift to you. But hurry, free installation won't last long. Call today. 800-588-2300 Empire. Today.
The Blackhawks are Stanley Cup champions. And Wrigleyville Sports has all your Hawks gear in stock. Over 100 items with more arriving daily. Get the official locker room cap and t-shirt the players wore for the celebration. Shop online and any size order ships for just $4.95. Orders over $100 ship free. Visit us at WrigleyvilleSports.com or at our retail locations across from Wrigley Field and Macy's State Street.
Smart shoppers are on to Mercury Milan. Milan's got Mercury quality that Honda and Toyota can't beat. Fuel economy Accord and Camry can't touch.
And now get 0% financing for 60 months on Mercury Milan. Plus 2 years of Sirius satellite radio at no charge. With over 130 channels, including 100% commercial-free music, plus sports, news, talk, and entertainment. Everything worth listening to is on Sirius.
You've got to put Mercury on your list.
It's official. Nebraska headed to the Big Ten. Nebraska officially applied for membership today. Chancellor Harvey Perlman believes the University of Nebraska is much more aligned, as he called it, with the Big Ten than the Big 12 when it comes to academics, culture, and athletics. Now, Nebraska is one of the great football names. They may not have had as much success in the last few years. When you think about the last 30 years, Nebraska is on any list of great football programs. Now, if you have Nebraska, Ohio State, Iowa's got a good program. You've got Michigan. I know they're down a little bit right now. Penn State. Those are some great names in college football.
Yeah, you're talking about a super conference. I mean, you know, it's interesting. I'd like to hear the backroom deals and how these things are made. But in my opinion, I guess this stuff is, I don't like this. I mean, just think about the rivalries Nebraska's built throughout the years. And now those are out the window, and I know they'll get new rivalries, and you mentioned the powerhouses, but I just don't think this is good for the college football fan. And I'm sure there's backroom movings and maneuvers and why this is better for the Big 10 or the Big 12. But to me, I think unless there's a real legitimate reason to move, you don't move.
Well, Colorado applied for the Pac-10. So now that was the beginning of the crumbling of the Big 12.
The Big 12's become the Big 10 now.
Yeah, and now how long is Texas and those schools are going to stay, because now they're rumored to be going to the Pac-10 also. I'm not sure where Oklahoma fits into all this. Are they going to the Pac-10 too?
Reportedly, they may go to the SEC.
It's interesting, and it's all football driven, which kind of surprises me, because none of the basketball seemed to have any bearing on this at all, because certainly Nebraska isn't anything as far as basketball goes. So and the question for the Big Ten now is, do they go two divisions, and do they SEC conference title game at the end of the year? I would think that would be the logical move. And is this the last move? Because I think Jim Delaney kind of hinted last week to Teddy Greenstein that this may not be the last move, that there may be a couple more chips out there that they may try and add.
There's a story out this afternoon that Texas Tech, and Oklahoma State are all headed to the Pac-10. It'll be announced next week.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this, but it'll become the Pac-16. And really, I think Nebraska had a lot of bitterness, but all reports out of Nebraska towards Texas, because when the whole Big 12 thing was put together, a lot of favoritism towards Texas, breaking up the Oklahoma-Nebraska rivalry. And Texas, as far as the money, they're the largest generator of revenue for sports in the entire country, and they're basically the linchpin of the entire Big 12. If they leave and jump, the Big 12 completely disappears off the map, and they take those schools with them. Forget about it. But more on the Nebraska idea as far as moving the Big Ten. It just made too much sense, I think, because of money, because they're getting like $12 million a year from being a member of the Big 12. They're going to get like $20 million from now being a member of the Pac-10. And it'll be interesting. I actually read that Texas even wanted to form their own TV network, because they're so powerful. Just the University of Texas TV network. And the Big 12 was actually going to let them do it, but the Pac-10 won't. And they'll actually form a Pac-16 TV network. But it looks like Texas and these other schools, the logical step is the Big 12. But who really loses is the smaller conferences, because they're going to be all super conferences.
What happens to Notre Dame?
Well, eventually Notre Dame, I know they want to try and hold out as long as they can, but, I mean, the landscape is kind of tilting to they're going to have to join a conference, right? If for no other reason is how are they going to schedule games? Because these teams and these super conferences are just going to be locked up with their own intra-conference games, and Notre Dame's going to be scheduling, the Armies and Navies. They're not going to have the premier teams like they had before. But I'm kind of curious how the Pac-10 is going to do this. It almost seems like the Texas and the schools from the Big 12 are only going to, they're going to be called Pac-10 or Pac-12 or whatever it comes out. But it's going to be their own little fiefdom, and it's going to be like the old Southwest Conference, maybe.
Well, they're going to throw Arizona and Arizona State with those 6, and they're going to make 8. That's exactly. They're going to make the old Pac-8 against the Big 12 and the way it works. But it'll be interesting. And Notre Dame, if the Big East doesn't seem to be a player in this, though. Remember there was some talk about the Big 10 poaching some Big East teams. It seems like Notre Dame, if there's no Big East left, Notre Dame, for all their other sports that are in the Big East, they would have to join a conference, because those sports they'd have to find a new home if the Big East fell apart. But who knows if it's
not going to.
If it's not going to, the Notre Dame their hand isn't as forced.
All right, time for our final break here on Chicago Tribune Live. We'll have the results to our poll question when we return. Plus, we'll revisit the parade and have some special sights and sounds from an unforgettable celebration.
We want to see you in a Kia during the grand opening of Grosinger Kia. Why drive used when you could be driving a brand new Kia with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty for only $99 a month? That's right, new Kia's $99 a month. Or drive a new Kia Sorento for only $199 a month. Even if your credit isn't perfect, at Grosinger you can drive a new car now. Get to the grand opening sales event going on now at Grosinger Kia Lincolnwood.
Spirit Hollow Golf Course in Burlington, Iowa. One of Iowa's most prestigious and challenging courses. The tight tree-lined fairways, rolling hills, and open prairie offer a truly unique golfing experience. Enjoy a championship course close to home and at an amazing rate. Stay and play at Pizzazz, featuring Catfish Bend Casino, the elegant Catfish Bend Inn and Spa, and Fun City. Call 866-898-9349 or go online at SpiritHollowGolfCourse.com for reservations and specials.
Hey ladies, you know the one night a week that's your night? Ladies' night. Ladies' night. Now Cupid.com is giving you a ladies' night. Cupid.com. It's your chance to get online with Cupid.com and get upgraded to a gold membership for as low as $1.99 a month. And it's only for the ladies. A gold membership. Ladies, you can have your night every night for as low as $1.99 a month with a gold membership from Cupid.com. Looking for love? It all starts with dating. And now dating is even easier on the all-new Cupid.com.
Did you ever lose your keys?
Ask someone else to help look, and there they are, right in front of you. Well, if you're looking for a job or the right employee, that's why we're here. QuadHelpWanted.com. Employment is all we do. It's the only thing. We help employers find qualified local candidates. Looking for a job? Post your resume for free. View job listings in your area. We promise it's there, and we could help you find it. QuadHelpWanted.com. Long name, amazing results.
Sports Rise, every morning on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Welcome back to Chicago Tribune Live. I'm Kip Lewis with a quick Sports Night update. GMC Sports Night is coming up at 6:30. It was a great day for a party, and the Blackhawks through one the city will remember forever. An estimated 2 million people showed up in the Loop to celebrate a Stanley Cup title, and we went along for the ride. We'll show you what it was like to ride with the Hawks themselves and bring you the highlights from the rally on Wacker Drive. That plus a recap from the Crosstown Cup, including controversy surrounding Lou and Ozzy. That's ahead on Sports Night in just a few minutes. But now more Chicago Tribune Live. Cap?
All right, thanks, Kip. Have a great show. In our CSNChicago.com poll question today, we asked you this. Which championship celebration in our great city did you enjoy the most? 62% of you, our producer Ryan McGuffey back there voting furiously, go with the White Sox. 31% went with the Blackhawks. 5% went with the Bulls. Just 2% went with the Bears back in 1985. What was your favorite?
Well, the Bears, it was just so cold. I remember it was tough to function.
January 26th.
Yeah, I was on hand. And
I believe that's the day the Challenger blew up in space.
Is that right?
Yeah, after takeoff, I believe that's.
I remember it being bitter cold that day.
As cold as it could get here. I remember that. But I thought the White Sox in 2005 was fun. I guess today, 2 million people on a nice day, and everyone wearing Hawk sweaters. That seemed to me like it might be the best, but I can't believe the Bears only at 2%.
I'm copping out. Tie between the Bears and the Blackhawks. Both of them equal.
I'm actually surprised that the Bears were so low, too. But again, 85, that's forever, nowadays. But look, lifelong Sox fan, 2005 will always be special for me.
Yeah, I'd have to vote the Bears for me. Just that 85 Bears, to me, is the greatest single moment in our city in sports history, that season. If you want to talk Michael Jordan, I can go that way. It was very cool for White Sox fans and for our city to see a World Series finally come here. I completely agree. This obviously was awesome today, but I'd have to vote the 1985 Chicago Bears. They captivated the entire country. Saturday night, the whole deal.
A lot of the Bears, a lot of the stars weren't at the game or at the celebration because of the Pro Bowl.
All right, that is all the time we have for today's edition of Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Harris Bank. Thank you to our guests, Trib's Chris Cook, Bob Fultman. We've got Jason Gotch. Dave Van Dyke was with us. Thank you so much for watching. We leave you with some of the best moments of the Hawks celebration and rally and parade. You have a fabulous weekend. I will see you Monday.
This is unbelievable. Like, everyone wearing a Hawks gear. This is it's incredible.
This is a wonderful combination of a hockey team and a romance with your fans, the likes that I've never seen before.
This is the biggest parade I've ever seen in my life, and the outpouring, the players are really taken. Patrick was wiping tears from his. I'm still amazed. This is just undescribable.
That's special. That's pretty awesome. I mean, it doesn't matter if you can be a part of something like this. Doesn't matter if you're the MVP or what kind of role you played. This is something just unbelievable.
Do you think the crowd's actually going to leave, or are they just going to stay like this all day?
I hope not. I hope they don't leave.
I think that our guys demonstrate a championship as well as any team that's ever represented an NHL team.
They're telling me to show them the cup. Should I show them?
Show them the cup.
Chicago Tribune Line is presented to you by Harris Bank. We're here to help.
Try this. Thank you.
Harris, we're here to help. Proud sponsor and loyal fan of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Our customers love saving money.
Bet Luna can't do this.
For a limited time, get free installation and free financing. With Luna, there's more to love for less.
773-202 Luna.
A better deal is waiting for you at Grossinger Cadillac Lincolnwood. Only Grossinger is offering 0% financing for 72 months on new 2010 Cadillacs, or has new 2010 Cadillac SRXs for just $28,900. You'll always find a better deal at Grossinger Cadillac Lincolnwood, including new Cadillac SRXs for only $28,900, or get 0 for 72. Grossinger, the last name you need to know.
He's not allowed to barbecue.
Just
ever.
There was...
No. I'll try anything once.
With all the bold, unique flavors at White Castle, there's a slider for everyone. Like our new garlic, cheese, and mushroom slider. 100% USDA beef topped with garlic, cheese, and savory mushroom sauce. Only 79 cents each. Grab a sack, you'll be back. White Castle.
You're watching the home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet.
Hi, I'm Patrick Kane. You're watching the home of Chicago Blackhawks hockey on Comcast Sportsnet.
Chicago! Proud to say that today we're Stanley Cup champions.
This is overwhelming.
Who knows a good dentist, by the way? Anyone got a dentist? Yeah, we love it.
You guys are the best fans in the world. That's all I can say.
This parade is over the top. Wow. Thank you, Chicago.
Hello and welcome to GMC Sports Night. I'm Kip Lewis. On what was a great day here in Chicago, an estimated 2 million fans filled the streets to honor the champion Blackhawks, and then Wrigley Field played host to the BP Crosstown Cup between the Cubs and Sox. But we start with a great scene at the parade for the Stanley Cup champions. Our Sarah Kustok was riding with the players for what was one heck of a journey.
Get ready. We are going to be in the midst of all the action. On our bus, we've got Rocky Wirtz, John McDonough, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, and the Stanley Cup itself.
I can't believe the outpouring of the crowds. I know they were there at midnight last night getting ready for today. The weather is perfect, and it's just now we can sit back and enjoy it.
We've seen the lines of people that are down there, and we're eager to get over there. I think it's going to be a scene that has never been rivaled before.
I think once we get these buses started, we'll really realize, we just saw a shot of the streets. It's unbelievable how many people came out today, so we'll definitely have some time to sit here and enjoy it and let it sink in.
Somebody told me, Sarah, the pride is back, and I think it is. This is once in a lifetime. I'm just so honored to be a part of this franchise. This is overwhelming.
That's one of the great things about this particular group. They love engaging the public. I think that's what makes them different than everyone else. This is the Beatles landing at Shea Stadium in 1964. It all changed after that moment. This is all going to change after today. We're so fortunate. This is all about our fans today.
It's unbelievable. I can't believe how big this crowd is. It's so loud. It's just amazing to be a part of.
They've given us, these are the greatest fans in the world. And I'm not just saying that, I mean it. This is a terrific thing.
I've never seen a parade like this. The fans love the Blackhawks,
and the entire team in Rocky Words. That's what it's all about.
They just keep coming. It's unbelievable. Like, everyone in Chicago has to be right here, right now. This is unbelievable.
I never really thought it would be like this, to be honest with you, but it's unbelievable. It's ridiculous to see how far the city has come and believing in the Chicago Blackhawks, and just fun to be a part of.
The parade and rally exceeded everyone's expectations as an estimated 2 million fans crowded the streets to show their appreciation for what the Blackhawks accomplished. What a way to kick off what will surely be a summer-long celebration. At the corner of Michigan and Wacker, Sarah Kustok, Comcast Sportsnet.
All right, thanks, Sarah. And if you were wondering what the view was like for the players as they made their way along the parade route, you can see it all on CSNChicago.com, uncut and unedited. We had a camera on board for the ride, and you can get to experience the parade the same way the players did. And once they arrived at the stage, the party really got started. It was a chance for the players to stand up in front of the fans one last time to thank them for the part they played in this great season. For the players, it was just another step in what will be a long summer of celebrations. Chris Bowden has more on the final stop of the day at Michigan and Wacker.
The parade route calculated out to exactly 1 magnificent mile, lined with fans dozens deep. A 49-year rocky road smoothed over. The mission accomplished Wednesday. The culmination of this celebration Friday, with these cup winners sharing the love and cracking wise, just as they had since this all began last September.
What's up, Chicago? Anybody want Pat Kane's cell phone number?
Best time of my life right now, having this crowd here. Stanley Cup. Who knows a good dentist, by the way? Anyone got a dentist?
On this team, we got this belt right here. We hand it off after every game, and we give it to a player that we think deserves it. And after the last game, I never got the chance to hand it out. But for all you cab drivers out there, better be careful, because this guy's going to take it home this summer. Number 88, Patrick Kane.
I'll tell you one thing, I'll try to keep my shirt on all summer, just for you guys, for all the cab drivers out there. I love you. These guys are unreal. I got my family members here, my cousin. I had 4 buddies come down to the final, but these guys are the ones you do it with. These are the best guys in the world, and I couldn't envision a better moment in my life than right now. Thank you very much.
Your captain, number 19, Jonathan Toews.
We worked hard and paid the price for each other, but most of all, we want to do it for ourselves, and we want to do it for you fans. You guys are the greatest. Thank you very much.
The Cup's here, and we'd love it to stay here a little longer. Thank you.
This organization and these players who have been center stage for the past 2 months gradually made their way off the stage here at Michigan and Wacker. And yeah, you'll probably see the Cup around town over the weekend before these players gradually disappear for what will be a short 3-month offseason. And some players may disappear for good in the NHL salary cap era. But on a day that the mayor and the governor declared it Blackhawks Day in both the city and the state, the emotion and joy of this celebration will never be duplicated for a team that can now call itself one of the best in Chicago's history. Reporting from the Stanley Cup celebration, Chris Bowden, Comcast Sportsnet.
And thanks, Chris. It was a parade almost a half-century in the making, and the Blackhawks players loved every minute of it. Ahead on Sportsnight, we'll take you back atop the double-decker buses to see what the view was like for the Stanley Cup champs. And meanwhile, the Crosstown Cup was getting underway with a fireworks show before the first pitch as Ozzie Guillen addresses a reportedly heated altercation with his GM, and Lou Piniella fires back at Steve Stone for his recent critiques on our air.
And another thing I'm going to say, I've won over 1,800 games as a manager, and I'm not a damn dummy.
A 315 horsepower, 5.3-liter V8. 21 highway NVG.
20-inch wheels, and a heart of chrome. GMC Sierra. Get 0% APR for 72 months on Sierra half-tons, rated a Consumer's Digest Best Buy, or choose $5,000 cash back on most Sierras.
Steady, boys! Steady!
Is this Men's Warehouse?
No, it's just over that hill!
You want suits? They've got the top designers.
There's even an on-site tailor every day. A snip here, a stitch there.
Well, let them know you're coming. Release the pigeon!
There's a place men belong. That place is Men's Warehouse. Right now, during our summer sale, buy one designer suit and get one free. I guarantee it.
The Chicago Blackhawks have won the Stanley Cup for the first time in 49 years. To commemorate this historic event, BigTimeBats.com has released this exclusive, officially licensed Stanley Cup Champions Puck and exclusive puck case. The mirrored back puck case measures 10 inches by 5 inches by 5.5 inches. You can purchase the Stanley Cup Champions Puck and case for $69.95 plus shipping and handling. Call 1-866-280-BATS or see it at BigTimeBats.com.
Welcome back. The Blackhawks parade took some of the luster off the Cubs-Sox game at Wrigley, and the events before the game pushed the BP Crosstown Cup even further off the back burner. Now, earlier this week on our Covering the Bases segment, our analyst Steve Stone criticized Lou Piniella for his handling of rookie Tyler Colvin. Stone has been steadfast in his belief that the young Colvin should be playing with the Cubs every day or be allowed to do so at the AAA level, and apparently that is not sitting well with Piniella. This is what he had to say on that subject prior to the game.
We've got a lot of people here that haven't managed and won any games in the big leagues, but they know everything, you know? They really do. I think they should try to put the uniform on and try this job and see how they like it when they get criticized unjustly, you know? That's all I got to say about that issue. But you get tired of it. I'm trying to do the best job I possibly can, and the only people I need to listen to are the people in my organization. That's it. But I get tired of being nitpicked, and I get tired of being criticized unjustly. Why don't they talk to me?